I thought, I've got to get out of this. I can't allow myself to go down this rabbit hole of depression and malaise.
Welcome to the New World Disorder. By the spring of 2020, en masse, we hit a depression. One woman's solution, draw a path forward. Introducing artist Nicola Weston. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to my friend and mentor, Nicola Weston. In this video, we are going to visit her and her daughter. They're both full-time artists. We're going to have a cup of tea and a wonderful long chat with Nicola, talk about her career, her upcoming show, which is where you'll find out how she drew a path forward out of depression and how we met. Nicola was a catalyst in my life. When I met her, I was a wayward kid. I know that she's changed or saved the lives of a few other kids that weren't doing so well. I hope that this video inspires you. I dedicate it to all mentors and apprentices everywhere. There is perhaps no more valuable relationship in the world. It is the transfer of knowledge. It is the passing on of a legacy, but bound up with the ties of friendship. And with that, let's begin. Before we get into today's interview, I feel compelled to share some behind the scenes with you. So jump in the car with my son and I while we take a trip from the prairies over the mountains to visit these old friends from the West Coast. Let's see their studios, their backyards, and some of the beautiful things that make up their daily life. Before we got down to serious business and had a good cup of English tea and an interview, Nicola took us to her daughter's shop in downtown Kimberley, BC. It was really charming, and Asha has pulled together a collective of incredible artists. There was something for everyone in there. It was eclectic and beautiful. We really enjoyed our visit, and we picked up some treats to bring home. Then it was time to close up shop. Nicola watered the flowers, and we headed to her house to hunker down and have our chat. And this, right here, is Nicola's home. There's her little red door. Once I got inside, it took me a few minutes to relax and settle down. Before we had our chat and cup of tea, there was just too much to look at. Every corner was filled with artwork, old and new. Some of it very, very old. Others collected in Nicola's lifetime from friends in the art community. And of course, her own artwork everywhere. Bright, thick, expressive, colorful, and always that quirky sense of humor. We could start just with when you and I met. I know that I was a teenager going through some pretty rough times, and you basically swooped in and saved my life.
What made you different from other kids was I was painting you and you were doing this. Watch it. Go, Ali, stand back.
Was
so
I?
The head would come forward like this, and I asked her, I said, you must like drawing. I love drawing. Oh, no wonder. Okay. Next time, bring me drawings. Bring me something. And then you did, and I went, wow, this kid's really talented. Right. I'm going to teach you. I'll teach you.
Yeah, I was just in a pretty dark place. And
also
it was the light I needed.
Also at that time,
Yeah.
It was because of you.
Mm-hmm.
You and Camille.
Yeah.
The two of you. Because you were Camille, because I was such good friends with the parents.
Yeah.
And I knew Camille too as a little kid.
She was such a joy to be around. Funny sense of humor, sharp as a whip, hey?
She's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, it started with that, and I thought, well, why are these girls that are young, they're beautiful, smart, hanging out with these four really dreadful guys, all dealing drugs, all hanging out with them? And I went, I'm going to start a drawing group with you guys. Just give you something else. So a bunch of you joined that drawing group, and actually, interesting enough, I'm still friends with everybody in that.
You are.
That group.
Isn't that great?
Still, you're all in their 40s, and you were like between 13 and 15.
Yeah, like you said, it's been going on 30 years now. We've known each other.
And I had fun. I was your age, and I was teaching you guys, and I had fun teaching you guys when I was your age.
That's right, because you were my age when I met you.
Yes.
Yeah. I love the continuity. I love a circle.
Your age.
Yeah.
I was your age.
Yeah, that's nice.
I just thought teaching you teaching you guys was fun. And then you came to my drawing group with all those old men, which was hilarious because you'd have the most dreadful conversations. And they were all very graceful about it. And, oh, yes.
We had the most dreadful conversations. Oh, no. Not a classy bunch, eh? Oh, that's funny. We'd horrify them.
Anything. And Mel was in that group, but Mel wasn't. She'd get into it too, a little bit too, because she was just that little bit older than you guys, Mel. And oh God, I'd listen. And these guys, it'd be just like.
I remember being told, like at a dinner, at least one dinner, to mind my P's and Q's, but I don't remember the drawing classes, things getting out of hand.
No one ever said anything. Everybody accepted you guys.
Well, that was nice of them.
You know, and nobody minded a single P or a single Q. You just continued talking. So then you worked with me in my studio and we went along.
We met at that time and you had a huge show. And that's what Camille and I and the other girls were modeling for. You had a big show called All Our Daughters.
Yeah.
That you were developing, which was a gigantic project.
What it was it came about because of Camille and other kids. I hadn't met you at that point.
Yeah.
And what is it about teenagers that people dislike so much?
Yeah.
And I thought, what about painting a whole room full of them? 40 kids, life-size portraits, all spent 2 weeks with me.
Yeah.
You all came from different walks of life, from very rich to street kids, whatever. I tried to include everybody that I could think of. And what was the interesting thing about that project was the people that I had to deal with around it. And I always say I met about 500 people.
Yeah.
40 girls, 500 people. Years on, 40 girls now, 80 children born from those girls. The thing that was really interesting I had to deal with the parents, the siblings, the boyfriends, if they had any, or girlfriends, whatever it was they had, I had to deal with. I had to deal with the police, school counselors, band leaders in First Nations kids. It was just like a whole range of people I was dealing with to deal with this.
Had you anticipated that when you got into it? No.
I never thought it'd be as complicated. I had to get, permission from all of them. It was extreme because it had a legal aspect to it. I never thought I'd be dealing with the police in Maine and Hastings.
Right, yeah.
I had no idea, but that's what I did, and it was all actually very interesting. I realized between me and the person in the street, there is no difference. We're literally separated by a hair. That project dissolved any kind of judgment I had about people or what they were. I enjoyed every single person who they were.
Because that was the other aspect of the show. So in addition to the 40 life-size portraits, there was a story also.
A story with Liz.
Yeah.
The story with Liz.
And Liz was the editor, the writer you were working with?
She was a writer.
Yeah.
She worked with me. Actually, it made a difference to me having Liz because I had another person. She's now 80 and I'm now 70. Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
We did that together and I was 40, she was 50.
It was a big project together and you both would have walked away, changed people.
It's that thing rolling.
Yes.
I started these drawings because I was left in Mexico and I didn't come back. I had COVID. And I had COVID badly, first round. And after I recovered from it, because I had it for 3 weeks, I thought, I'm losing my mind. I was so depressed. I just lie in a hammock like this. I thought, I've got to get out of this. I can't allow myself to go down this rabbit hole of depression and malaise, incredible malaise, which is one of the symptoms of it. Anyway, so I thought, I'm going to just do a drawing a day. And I did this scruffy little drawing of myself. I'm like, okay, I'll start with that. And I just thought I'd do about 5 drawings, but then I got going and I kept going. It was like a drawing a day, drawing every 3 days, drawing every 4 days.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I had well over 100 drawings. And I did it. And each one I just post on Facebook, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I put it under a different heading. I thought, well, it can't be the same site as my painting.
It was its own series.
It was its own. And I realized I was onto something. After 5, 10 of them, I went, oh, this is going to be a big series, another big show of mine. Yeah. So I better just keep going. And so I put it under the heading of drawing drawing my new world disorder. People loved it.
You must have got conversation going with people.
I did.
Because some of the images were challenging or controversial, humorous, relatable.
To my great disappointment, which I'll say this on camera, you know, I was very ill with it.
Yeah.
And there were probably about 3 nights there when I thought, bloody hell, am I going to make it through the night? I ended up with long COVID, which I still deal with to this day. For myself, yeah, it did take me down. It was the one thing that took me down physically, because beforehand I had incredibly robust physicality. The saddest part with me, for the whole thing with me, in my mind, wasn't what happened to me. I'm okay with what happened to me. It's like, something will take me down. It could have been anything. It could have been cancer. It could be anything. I'm old. The saddest thing, outcome of all of it, which makes me really glad that I did the drawings and it propels me to show them, is people turning on each other. The anti-pro thing. When I saw communities rip each other apart over this, ugly. It was. I thought, this is actually worse than what actually COVID is. This is even worse than what the damage it did to me, and it did damage to me. I'm still
not insignificant.
It's not insignificant. This is pretty serious. Which, you know, I'm going to have to face some things to do with that, but it's the damage what it did to our society,
and to friendships, families.
Communities, everything.
Hitting each other against each other.
I'm so disappointed in humanity for that. It's like, we could have done so much better. We could have been so much kinder to each other. And especially my home community, Salt Spring, I think of what happened there, and it just makes me want to cry. I was very grateful that I lived in Mexico most of this time, and I wasn't there. I was either here or in Mexico. I wasn't there. And I did go through some pretty crazy situations with it, but I remember I visited a friend of mine in Mexico who's well into her 80s, and she said to me, she said, "Oh my God, Nicola, those drawings you did, it really got me through a very, very lonely time. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd wait for your drawings." And I thought, that made it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was worth it. It's like
even
the girls.
Just for one person. That's right.
It was like the girls. You were worth it. All the girls were worth it. So that's what made it worth it. I've had a lot of feedback, people saying it helped me through a tough time, just through my own idiocy and humor.
I find looking back at these drawings haunting and yet sort of hilarious, ridiculous. All we went through, all we put ourselves and each other through. The online shopping, the hoarding of teas, toilet paper, the home haircuts, the grocery shopping, the trying to book flights to get anywhere, to get out of somewhere, to get back home. All of it, Nicola captured vividly in these drawings.
I'm going to tell you something about mentoring people, because I've mentored a few people. And I'm going to tell you about the girls as well. If you mentor somebody, the thing I realized very quickly is the person who you mentor actually gives back to you far more than you ever give them. Painting all of you girls did something that my parents always told me to do. Always remember, Nicola, to make friends with people younger than you. Always make friends with people younger than you. Not just your own age. You've got to remember that. They said it to me a lot, and they always did it. They had friends my age. So when I did the girls, I made friends with all of you guys. You're younger than me. And now I understand it, as I am losing friends left, right, and center.
That is a good point. You get to that stage of life, and you're attending a lot of funerals. My older friends talk about this a great deal right now.
Oh yeah, so you do.
We need each other, especially younger friends.
So the gift is that you guys gave me was painting all those girls, and I stayed friends with so many of you. I still know so many of you. It was not just you guys, it was the parents, the siblings,
the whole community.
It was like a whole bunch of people, but younger people was a big one. You keep that in mind.